The training arena on Station Helix-9 hummed with the usual pre-combat energy. Recruit Officer Vex'thar adjusted his optical sensors, watching the human cadet through the reinforced observation glass. The girl, no more than 19 standard cycles, stood at the edge of the practice ring with her arms crossed. Her name tag read Kira Vance, and she looked thoroughly unimpressed. "This should be entertaining," Vex'thar muttered to his colleague, a four-armed Kolian named Brex. Another soft-skinned Terran thinking they can handle military protocol. Brex clicked his mandibles in agreement. The last one cried during the basic endurance test. Actual tears. From exhaustion. The combat instructor, a hulking Drachner named Sergeant Grull, stomped into the arena. His scales gleamed under the harsh lights, and his voice boomed across the space. "Cadet Vance, you will demonstrate standard disarming procedures against Cadet Torvin. Begin when ready." Torvin, a muscular Zinthari with tusks and attitude to match, grinned wickedly. He outweighed the human by at least 60 kilograms. His plasma training rifle, though set to stun mode, could still knock someone unconscious for hours. He leveled it at Kira with theatrical menace. "Try not to embarrass your entire species," Torvin sneered. Kira tilted her head, studying him. "You know, back home, we have a saying about guys who compensate with big weapons." Vex'thar's translator struggled with the idiom, but Torvin's face darkened anyway. "Begin," Grull roared. What happened next would be analyzed, reviewed, and argued about for weeks. Kira moved. Not the clumsy charge Vex'thar expected. Not the defensive crouch they taught in basic training. She moved like liquid mercury, closing the 3-meter gap before Torvin could process the motion. Her hand snapped out, grabbed the rifle barrel, and twisted with such force that the weapon's safety sensors screamed in protest. Torvin, to his credit, held on. For approximately half a second, then Kira dropped her weight, used the rifle as a lever, and sent the 200-pound Zinthari flipping over her shoulder. He crashed into the mat with a sound like a sack of rocks hitting pavement. The rifle came free, and suddenly this small human stood in the center of the arena, weapon raised, looking entirely too comfortable. "Arena scanner activated," the automated system announced. "Analyzing combat parameters. Analyzing threat assessment. Analyzing biological markers." Vex'thar leaned forward. This was routine. The scanner would classify the combatant, assign a threat level, update the training database. Standard procedure. The holographic display flickered. Numbers scrolled past, then stopped. "Classification error," the system stated. "Recalculating." "What's wrong with the scanner?" Brex asked. "Nothing's wrong," Vex'thar replied, but doubt crept into his voice. "It just needs a moment to process." Kira stood perfectly still, rifle pointed at the ceiling, while Torvin groaned on the mat. Sergeant Grull watched with narrowed eyes. "Biological markers detected," the scanner continued. "Muscle density, 47% above species average. Reaction time, 0.03 seconds. Bone structure, reinforced calcium matrix. Adrenaline production, elevated. Cortisol regulation, abnormal. Neural pathway efficiency, unprecedented." The holographic display turned red. "Warning! Warning! Threat assessment critical. Subject classification, Unclassified Apex." Silence crashed through the observation deck. "That's impossible," Vex'thar whispered. Apex classification was reserved for species-level threats. Creatures that could theoretically take on multiple armed opponents and win. The galaxy had maybe 12 confirmed Apex species, and humans weren't on the list. Humans were Category 5 at best. Clever, sure. Resourceful, absolutely. But Apex? System malfunction, Brex insisted. "Has to be." Grull's voice cut through the arena. "Cadet Vance, lower the weapon." Kira complied immediately, setting the rifle down gently. "Sir, did I do something wrong?" "The objective was disarmament." "The objective," Grull said slowly, "was to demonstrate standard procedure. Not whatever that was." "Oh." Kira scratched her head. "Sorry, I thought we were supposed to show what we actually know. My uncle trained me in Krav Maga back on Earth. Well, him and my older brother. Family tradition, you know? Gets pretty competitive at reunions." Vex'thar pulled up Kira's file on his datapad. Born in New Seattle, Earth. Parents, both civilian contractors. No military background. No special forces training. No genetic modifications listed. Just an ordinary human who decided to join the Galactic Defense Corps on a whim after, according to her application essay, getting bored with college. The scanner continued its assessment. Subject demonstrates combat efficiency rating of 9.7. Recommend immediate specialized evaluation. Repeat, unclassified Apex designation confirmed. Torvin finally sat up, holding his head. What just happened? You got schooled, Kira said cheerfully. Want me to show you the move? It's pretty basic once you understand leverage points. Vex'thar exchanged glances with Brex. Both were thinking the same thing. If this was basic, what could she do when actually trying? The emergency meeting convened within the hour. Vex'thar found himself crammed into conference room 7 alongside Brex, Sergeant Grull, and 3 very concerned administrators. The holographic replay of Kira's disarming maneuver looped endlessly on the center display. Commander Vex'thar, a grayscaled Vorthian with more medals than patience, drummed her claws on the table. Explain to me how a species we classified as moderate-tier sentience just broke our Apex detection system. The system isn't broken, Vex'thar protested weakly. We ran diagnostics twice. Everything checks out. Then we have a human cadet who registers as a planetary-level threat. Vex'thar's head crest flared purple. Do you understand what that means? The Council will demand answers. They'll want to know if Earth has been hiding enhanced super soldiers. They'll want to know if we're training potential weapons. Grull crossed his massive arms. With respect, Commander, I've trained thousands of recruits across 40 species. That girl isn't enhanced. She's just good. Just good doesn't explain Apex classification, Brex interjected. The scanner detected abnormal physiological markers. Bone density, neural efficiency, muscle composition, all beyond standard human parameters. A new voice entered the conversation. Actually, those readings are within normal range for athletic humans. Everyone turned. A human liaison officer stood in the doorway, Lieutenant Marcus Webb, looking far too amused for the situation. He held a data pad and wore an expression that suggested he'd been waiting years for this moment. Lieutenant Webb, Commander Vex'thar said icily. This better be relevant. Oh, it's relevant. Webb stepped inside, projecting files onto the main display. Your scanner isn't malfunctioning. It's just never encountered a trained human before. See, most species in the Galactic Defense Corps come from worlds with stable environments. Predictable predators. Logical evolution. Earth. He laughed. Earth is a nightmare planet. Vex'thar felt his secondary stomach clench. Nightmare planet. Gravity 1.2 times standard. Oxygen-rich atmosphere that literally corrodes metal. Weather patterns that can shift from calm to catastrophic in minutes. And the predators? Webb pulled up images. We evolved alongside creatures that could kill us 1,000 different ways. So we got creative. We got fast. We got mean when necessary. The images showed Earth fauna. Something called a hippopotamus that apparently killed more humans annually than creatures that looked far more dangerous. Tiny insects that caused massive plagues. Ocean dwellers with enough venom to drop 50 adult humans. Kira Vance, Webb continued, comes from a port city. Her family practices combative sports as recreation. Recreation. Her application mentioned Krav Maga, which is a military self-defense system designed for real-world violence. She's been training since age 7. That's child abuse, Brex whispered, horrified. That's Tuesday, Webb corrected. Look, here's the thing your scanner picked up. Humans have this fun biological quirk called the fight-or-flight response. When threatened, our bodies dump chemicals that increase strength, speed, pain tolerance, everything. We call it an adrenaline rush. Most species have something similar, but ours is, well, excessive. Commander Vex'thar studied the data. These cortisol levels would be toxic to most species. Yeah, we build up tolerance. Also, human bone structure isn't just calcium. We've got collagen matrices that make our skeletons surprisingly resilient. And our muscle fiber composition allows for explosive power generation. We're persistence hunters, Commander. We literally evolved to chase prey until it died of exhaustion. We're not the strongest or fastest, but we don't quit. The room absorbed this information with visible discomfort. So you're saying, Vex'thar began carefully, that Kira Vance is just an average human. Above average, Webb admitted, but not exceptional by Earth standards. You want exceptional? Her uncle competed in mixed martial arts professionally. Her brother served in Terran Marine Recon. Compared to them, she's the gentle one. Sergeant Grull made a choking sound. The Apex classification, Commander Vex'thar said slowly, was accurate. From the scanner's perspective, absolutely. It detected a creature with enhanced strength, speed, durability, and aggression capabilities. Add combat training, and yeah, Apex Predator assessment tracks. The scanner just didn't know that's normal for humans who actually try. Kira Vance sat outside the conference room, swinging her legs and looking bored. When the door finally opened, she jumped to attention. Cadet Vance, Commander Vex'thar announced, "You're being transferred to advanced combat instruction. Effective immediately." Kira blinked. "Is that good or bad?" "We're still deciding," the commander admitted. "Lieutenant Webb will oversee your training protocols. Try not to hospitalize anyone else." "I didn't hospitalize Torvin. He's fine. He has a concussion and bruised pride." "Oh," Kira winced. "Sorry about that. I really was holding back." Vex'thar watched the human girl leave, escorted by Webb, who was explaining something about proper force calibration. The recruit officer turned to Brex. "How many humans are enrolled in the Defense Corps?" Brex checked his pad. 3,412. Across all stations. "And how many are trained like Vance?" The silence stretched uncomfortably. Commander Vex'thar poured herself a double shot of Vorthian brandy. "Gentlemen, I believe we've drastically underestimated humanity. The question is, what do we do about it?" Through the observation window, Kira could be seen demonstrating the disarming technique to a group of fascinated cadets. She moved with casual grace, explaining leverage points and reaction timing like she was teaching a cooking class. "Maybe," Grull rumbled thoughtfully, "we stop putting them in beginner courses." Vex'thar watched a Zenthari cadet attempt the move and fail spectacularly. Kira patiently corrected his stance, adjusted his grip, and encouraged him to try again. "Apex Predator," the scanner had declared. Looking at Kira Vance now, laughing as another cadet succeeded in the technique, Vex'thar realized the most terrifying part. She had no idea how dangerous she actually was. None of the humans did. They just thought this was normal. And somewhere on Earth, 3,000 more just like her were waiting to enlist. The galaxy, Vex'thar decided, was about to get very interesting.